Hey guys, Sure with Small Pets here. So I'm here with Wonton, the Chinese hamster, and I'm gonna film a little bit different of a video. I know I did that last week, and I know you guys want small pet videos. I'm just dealing with some stuff, and I know that's like the most cliched YouTuber answer ever. Um, but in my case, that's exactly what's happening. This summer has been transformative, to say the least, and then on top of everything, starting a new job. It's been a lot. But one of the biggest, I guess, like most life-changing events for me in my adult slash like adolescent life happened. So I'm just kind of, something happened tonight where it was kind of like a bit of like a final like hit where felt like that feeling that you get where you feel like you've been hit in the solar plexus or the lungs, and you're having a hard time like breathing. That's where I'm at tonight. And I thought this would be a wise thing to try to film. If it helps one person or is relatable to one person, then it's worth it. This is not one of those videos that like I'm going to be getting like AdSense money on. This type of video, I know you guys prefer small pet videos, but you know, at the end of the day, I created this channel for me. And sometimes I'm going to make videos that aren't necessarily going to be the viewer favorites. I'm going to try to be as concise as I can. I have no idea how long this is going to be, but I need to get it off my chest. And I have a funny feeling, I'm sure a lot of you have gone through something vaguely similar, but at the same time, I'm really, really bad at... So, I have an exceptional memory, and a lot of people are like, oh, that must be awesome. And in some regard it is, but in a lot of areas, it's crap. Because for me, it makes things like letting people go really hard. Because even if let's say the last couple of years of a friendship, or even like a year of a friendship haven't, or 6 months or whatever, I don't even know, hasn't been great, I'm incapable of letting go of what I remember as being good. And I see the good just as clearly as the more recent problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, both are just as fresh for me, so it's really hard it's hard to separate, I guess, or prioritize. And I'm also really bad at setting boundaries for myself in terms of telling people when I need to say no. I'm not good at it. I've realized this, and I have been working on it for the last like year, and I'm not great at it still, but I am like actively trying. But this story takes place for half of my life. This person's been in my life for nearly half. 13 years out of my 27, out of my just turned 27. So like half my life, the important half. And I just recently walked out. Now, this is not me going to saying that I have never made any mistakes in this friendship. That is not true. Especially when you have a friendship that goes past teenage years. That's just impossible. But this is coming from me figuring out that for a very, very long time I have been taken advantage of and manipulated. Part of it is me accepting the fact that I let that happen. And the other is me realizing now in retrospect how much I missed and why it was so absolutely necessary for me to walk away. So it starts out in grade 9. We became friends the first semester of grade 9. I'd just gotten diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and she and I bonded over, she was asked to help me get caught up in science. There's no catching, somebody's arguing, there's no catching anyone up in science. after missing 2 full weeks. It's almost a unit. But we became friends. And you know, throughout, I'm not going to get into the specifics. I don't even know if I'm going to call this a story time or what it is, but through the years, we became inseparable. You know, we were together always. and that was the way, you kind of expect it to be with your best friend. And there was a third person we were both really good friends with. And she and I were all really, really close, and it was friggin' great. I was an awkward kid in high school. I was weird. Everyone's weird in high school. But I had an odd sense of self. But I was okay with who I was because I had really, really good friends, and not just these two people. But I was very lucky in the friend department. I will never ever say otherwise. But I thought I was the luckiest person ever to have these two people, especially on my side. And we went away to university. All three of us went to different places, and she did not cope very well with being away from home. She went to a city not far from home. It was only about an hour away, but the problem was that I was 4.5 hours away, and things were trickier. We dealt with stuff. At least I thought we did. And I was having a great time at university. I met Mr. Sherwood the first week of school. Actually, I met him the very first day of class. We're celebrating our 9-year anniversary this month, which is crazy. But we had different ways of coping with things, and things never went quite right after, I'd say, second year of university. So 6 years in, something happened between her and a significant other. That's not important. But I gave my opinion a little, I guess, too strongly for a best friend. And I realize now, looking back as I'm no longer 20, that I could have been softer in that, for sure. Absolutely. There's always room for, I think sometimes, unfortunately, when you care a lot about someone, you can say the wrong thing because you're so worried, and it's not what they're ready to hear, or it's not what they need from you. Does that make sense? And that happened. And she said, well, we just can't talk about that. And I was like, well, how can we be best friends and have things we can't talk about? And she said, you know what, you're right. Maybe we shouldn't, maybe we can't talk anymore, or for a while. And we actually didn't talk for, where is she? Where did she go? Oh, hello. Oh. Oh. Where did you go? Do you hear my dog slipping and sliding and struggling to survive upstairs? Anyway, we actually, we didn't talk for 6 months. And then, because, I guess in their mind it was, we couldn't, if we couldn't talk about that thing, and maybe we just couldn't talk at all. And we started talking again. She came over and said we needed to not do that. It was never really an apology, and for some reason at the time, I didn't think I was owed one, because I think I was feeling really, really bad. Oh, there she is. About the way I said stuff, even though now, looking back, unfortunately, the people that love you the most are going to tell you what you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear. But again, we were 20. And we sort of talked it out, but not really. She had a way of kind of making things you just moved on, and like you forgot something, you just forget it happened, basically. That was the coping mechanism that she would like to, how she, quote, fixed conflicts. And then, about a year and a half later, we went out. I said something that she didn't like, but I didn't know that at the time. And I didn't see her or hear from her for a year and a half. And that took a long time to get over, because I never had any explanation. I had no idea what was going on. I was finishing up my thesis for my undergrad, and then I was also on course overload at the time. This was the summer, but I was going into pro year, so I did what program called concurrent education, which is where you work towards your Bachelor of Education at the same time as your undergrad, but you still have a 5-year program. You just have more courses. So I was working on 2 degrees at the same time, and so I was working on my Bachelor of Arts with specialist, and in my Bachelor of Education, all at once. And my one friend, who was a mutual friend of hers, actually asked her about 8 months into us not talking. This is 8 months, so I was almost done school. And they finally asked, because I was afraid to. I was like, what did I do? You know? And I'd racked my brain around the last time I'd seen her, and I couldn't figure out what had gone wrong, because I just couldn't, and I was devastated. I was literally grieving a loss. Like, that's like, but I had no reason. I had no idea why. And so they asked, and I could tell the reason that they gave my friend was not the full thing, but I could tell that was what she was going to tell people. And what she said was, I had turned too negative and exhausting to be around. And I'll never forget reading that in the Facebook Messenger and thinking, wait, what? Now, to put into context, this person had called me. The amount of times I'd been up at 3 a.m. talking to them, trying to help, trying to make them feel better, or just trying to talk, I don't know, logic or whatever. And I was just like, wait, and I'm the negative and exhausting one? And I was mad, but at the time I was just so hurt that I went another, I guess I went almost another year after that before something happened. Her family cat actually passed away, and I saw it show up on my feed, and I reached out and said, I know we don't talk, but I'm really sorry about your cat. He was great. And after that, we kind of slowly, over the course of about 8 months, kind of rebuilt our friendship. She never told me why she stopped talking to me, never gave me an apology, and I, for some reason, again, told myself that I obviously didn't deserve one. And then, as we became good friends, stuff kind of started to unravel, and I'm not going to talk about that here because it's really not relevant. But things happened where I would be over there. I would be dropping everything and going over to her place at random hours, or for undisclosed amounts of time, or on no notice because out of concern. And it was happening a lot, and which, of course, like, that was, to me, that was just part of, that's love. It's a drop everything kind of emotion, and then she, one of the times I did that, I went over to her place, I tidied up, and I did some extra stuff, like I did the pet chores and shit, and that's whatever. And the next day, and she never, and she wouldn't come inside until I left. She didn't want me there. And And that's whatever. It's not important. And then the next day, rather than saying, thank you, or I'm sorry that I did that, because that made me feel like crap. That was the first time in a long time that I acknowledged that something that she'd done had actively hurt my feelings. Even though it had happened quite a lot, I kind of just brushed it off again in the situation where you think like, oh, it was just an awkward conversation, or like just the way to say sorry just didn't come up. And so I never let it get to me for a long period of time. But then she said that she felt like a bad friend, but she felt that way because I put her in that situation. And that was where it kind of started to slowly chip away at me actively all the time. The worry, and then the things that myself and a couple of the other people that really loved her went through consistently, and just the lack of any kind of follow-up later or apology or anything. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating right. I was not able, there was lots of days where I would go into work on like 2 hours sleep. I wasn't functioning. And I sound so pathetic. Looking back, I let myself, it was all consuming for me. It was all consuming. It was sucking me dry. And then something very dumb happened. Something so incredibly asinine happened. And I finally decided that was where I needed an apology. Because she'd hurt the feelings of someone I cared about a lot. And again, like I said at the start of this video, I'm really crappy at sticking up for myself, but I'm fiercely protective of people I care about. And she hurt him. And I was like, I sent her a message and I was like, hey dude, like, I love you so much, but you effed up. And when somebody effs up, the adult thing that you have to do is you apologize for it. You mean your apology, you learn from it, and then the people who love you forget and move on. It's no big deal. Because when you love a person the way we love her, it's not a matter of like holding it against her. It's just sometimes people just need to know that you're sorry that you hurt them. And she didn't talk to me. She just straight up ghosted me for almost a week. And then when she finally did message me, she basically let on as if she'd talked to the person that I said had hurt them, and that they'd learned from it, that she'd spun it entirely. And she had talked to them about what I'd talked to that person about, and she thought we needed to talk. And that, and then when I eventually finally told her that, at the end of the day, what I needed was a person who would take accountability and apologize for things when they do crappy things, she said, well, you never asked for an apology, so how am I supposed to apologize when you don't ask? When it's something, and I was like, in situations where you're clearly not the kind person, it shouldn't be up to the person who was hurt to say, hey, you need to say sorry to me. That's not the way this kind of thing works. And it was there where I realized, after talking it out with some other people that I care about, that I realized that this wasn't healthy for me anymore. And I backed away. I walked. I said, I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. And then that was about a month ago, and things have been really, really, really hard, actually. They've been really, really hard. It pretty much, even though I know it was the right thing to do, I'm still, I think, wounded is the term that I would use. That's, especially, I was doing pretty good. I've been busy with my job, so I haven't had any time at all to to think about it really. But then today, they posted something that was deliberately cold, deliberately cruel, and it just and I it was like it was just new all over again. It was like I was grieving the loss of a person who I've known through every significant event in my life. They were in every single thing, everything. So it's a loss, and to be reduced to what I was reduced to and what they posted, or what they said, I'm not all right. And this person doesn't watch my videos, so it's not like I'm not putting this out on the internet for them to watch, because they don't watch them. I keep my personal life and my YouTube life separate, pretty deliberately. But I just wanted to post it here, I guess because I've put so much of me on here over the years, over the last 1.5 years, it feels like I've been on here. And sometimes saying it out loud helps. This didn't. I was really hoping it would. It didn't. I don't know if I'm going to post this. I don't really know what good it will do, but I guess I want you to know if at any point somebody hurts you, it's alright to feel just wounded. And to not have a plan on how to fix it. I guess. Because I have no plans right now. I had a going forward plan with this before today. I was working on it every day. And this just kind of took the rug that I was standing on, pulled it out from under my feet, and then threw it in my face. I think that's how it just feels like someone is currently and repeatedly kicking me in the gut. That's how I feel right now. Anyway, this was longer than I anticipated. I'm sorry if this is boring for you, and if you don't have to watch it. Please don't feel obligated. I should have said that at the start. If you made it to 22 minutes and 41 seconds, you don't have to watch the rest, although it's over. That's it. Basically, if you can take one thing away from this, love yourself. Because sometimes the people who are supposed to love you don't love you properly. And it's not always their fault. Remember that. But sometimes it is. Sometimes it is other people's fault. And it's okay to acknowledge that. And it's okay to be hurt by that. And it's okay to feel everything. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna let myself be sad today. It's my husband's birthday, so it's Mr. Sherwood's birthday today, so I'm gonna go back up and we're gonna play video games, and I'm gonna compartmentalize. I'm gonna put this away for a bit, and then I don't know. I'm gonna be sad for a little bit though. I think that's okay.